How's it going, everybody? And welcome to my playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch. Originally, I was going to play A Link to the Past actually quite a while ago. I was thinking about it even in 2023, just kind of put it off over and over. I mean, there was Tears of the Kingdom to play through, and then I ended up doing Minish Cap and all those other games. But with the GBA release, I thought it would be a good time to finally play through this game. And now that I played through Four Swords with Cody, I do have access to the Palace of the Four Swords, so I will be doing that as well. And then we're gonna grind a few more times so I can get those. I think they're called Medals of Courage, and that'll give me access to the Hurricane Spin. This is gonna be 100% walkthrough, let's play, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know how many parts it's going to be. Echoes of Wisdom is coming out, I believe, in 2 weeks or so. So that's going to be uploaded alongside this, probably for a few weeks or so. I'm not sure how long Echoes of Wisdom is, and I don't know how long this game is going to take me. I think with Minish Cap, I was just kind of off and on with that. Hopefully there can be a bit more consistency with this game, but we'll just have to see how that goes. I don't think I'm going to really prioritize either or when Echoes of Wisdom comes out. I'm sure that opening day or release day I'll do one Echoes of Wisdom video and then just kind of go back and forth between Echoes of Wisdom and this game, as well as any other playthroughs that I do on the channel at the time. But right off the bat, we do have this additional little intro cutscene, which I don't think was in the original SNES version of A Link to the Past, so I think it's just there for a little bit of backstory, but maybe it wasn't the original version. It's been a hot minute since I played. There's a few new features for the GBA version, one of them being the fact that Link actually has young Link's voice from Ocarina of Time. I personally really like this change. I do like when Link has a voice. I'm not a fan of him just always being the quiet, of course he doesn't really speak too often, but he does speak. So it's nice to hear him have a little bit of a voice in this version, which I'm assuming that's why they gave him a voice, because he had a voice in Minish Cap, and I think that might have been developed alongside this. I'm not sure how that all worked, but it is nice him having a voice, as well as there's Palace of the Four Sword, the little side quest of getting the Hurricane Spin, and then the entire Four Sword game itself. And I think there might be a few other changes. Only one that I can currently think of is the fact that the item menu actually shows 4 bottles now, versus the original. I believe you just had to kind of sort through them with a little mini item thingy. And I think there's a few other changes scattered around throughout the game. Like, I don't think the Chris Houlihan room can be accessed in this version, but maybe it can. I don't think the message is in this game, though, which is kind of unfortunate. I do wonder how that was originally intended to be found, but evidently it wasn't put in super properly. Or maybe it was. Maybe that's how it was supposed to be. But here's the intro of the game. Right there is Link's uncle, and he's going to head out into the storm because he senses the danger, perhaps. I actually don't know why he goes out to the storm. Maybe he's just a really tough guy and just kind of ends up bad in his luck. Sure. Our first item is going to be a lantern right there, which I really don't remember getting it there in the SNES version, but maybe it's there. I'm not sure. And the thing that I never really do in my playthroughs, but I'll show off here, you can actually talk to some of these guards, and they'll actually give you little tidbits of information. Just kind of how to play the game and whatnot. Pretty simple stuff. Nothing overly exciting you'll hear from them, but still, if you're unfamiliar with the game and just figuring out where to go, it is nice to have this information. So yeah, they just say they'll teach you a thing or two, and this guy tells you how your L button works, and just basic stuff like that. Each video is probably going to be between probably 15-25 minutes long, just depending on what I'll do. For example, if it's a dungeon/temple video, it is probably for this first few temples, dungeons, probably not be too long, but some of the later dungeons might end up taking me a bit longer, and they'll just be longer videos. The in-between dungeon parts will be uploaded separately, so those will probably be probably anywhere between 5 to probably 25 minutes in some cases. I don't really know how long these first few videos are going to be. I always like to aim towards under 30 minutes, but if I have to go over, then so be it. Another thing you'll probably notice is that the screen is just stretched to fill the entire screen. I was going to go with the Minish Cap setup that I had and just kind of display everything on the screen, but I think for the time being, the only thing that I'm really going to do is maybe flash on the screen what I'll have collected at the start of the video. But we'll see. So far, I like having the entire screen filled with the game versus having the extra items set up, and I think it works too because the game was originally on the SNES, and I think that was like well, it fit the entire tube TVs and whatnot, box TVs, so that could be part of the reason that it's fitting a bit better. When I did that with Minish Cap, it didn't really fit the greatest, but this game looks fine, stretched out, so I'm just going to keep it how it is for now, and if I decide to change things, I'll change them. But right off the bat, we'd head through this little cave, and you'll hear Link's little scream there. I do like that they gave him the voice, it's pretty cool. Makes me seem like the OOT Link, which this is not that Link, but still cool to have a voice. I believe they took out a line here that says Zelda is your ... I don't think he says that here. Well, let's see. No, so I guess they took that out. I think the reason was for taking it out is that in the original game, I think it was a translation error, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines, I believe. Because it'd be kind of weird to say, like, Zelda is your sister. Zelda is your destiny would make a lot more sense, so I think that's what the common theory is that he was going to say, but saying she's your sister is... that wouldn't really make much sense, but it doesn't really make too much sense why he's here in the first place, unless he was just trying to rescue Zelda, in which case maybe he received the telepathic message as well. I don't really know, but there's an interesting little thing I'll show as soon as we find Zelda 2. I just find it kind of funny. I've always been intrigued by this little garden area. I don't know what these pink things are supposed to be, if they're bushes or hedges, or what they're supposed to be. I don't think they're supposed to be hedges because they don't look like the grassy types, so I don't know. Nice little interior for the castle here. I believe those are supposed to be glass-covered torches, and then the ones on the bottom are maybe freely lit ones. But I don't know, I like the art style of this game. It's probably one of my favorite 2D styles. I mean, they put a lot of detail in here. I mean, I guess this wasn't... I guess you could say this was a pretty big step up in terms of, like, jumping from Zelda 2 to the SNES, which I don't know what the time difference was between those two games. Probably within 6 years or so, I think. This is the last soldier we get to talk to, and like he says, it's only a matter of time before he's affected, so talk to him while you can, because as soon as we make our way to the first heart container spot, he's gonna be taken over, sadly, so the last good soldier we'll see. I believe Aghanim used some sort of cursing thingamajig, which is why all the soldiers are brainwashed and whatnot. Don't know why he chose some of the weakest soldiers in Hyrule, but he did. Some of these soldiers are a little wimpy. Some of them do put up a little bit of a fight, but once we get the boomerang, the ones that actively search Link out are no big deal. I probably won't use my boomerang a whole lot, because if you've seen my other Zelda game playthroughs, you know that I don't really use my items as effectively as I should. I think that's just from playing the games at early age and just never really building up that habit, but I still enjoy the games nonetheless. I just have a different playstyle. Everyone has their own playstyle, so it works out in the end. This is just a little making our way to Zelda. Really interesting looking dungeon. I don't know why there's little void pits all over, but evidently you're supposed to keep the prisoners from escaping, and if they do escape, they have a chance to follow their death, which I guess would negate the problem, so I'm just not going to worry about that. So while I'm making my way towards Zelda, I just want to maybe give my 2 cents on Echoes of Wisdom. I do find it interesting that we're going to be playing Zelda. We don't do that too often. I know we got a chance to play as her in Spirit Tracks a little bit, and then I'm trying to think, how else do we play Zelda? I don't know. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Spirit Tracks, but in one of the CDI games I know you play as her as well, which we won't even get into that. And Hyrule Warriors games you can play as her as well, but it's going to be interesting playing as her in the Link's Awakening style, and just playing as Zelda in general. I don't know how they're going to exactly go about that. I've only seen 2 of the trailers so far. Maybe there's 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I'm curious how that's all going to work out. I know she has some sort of little magic-y thing that allows you to build things and whatnot, but I wonder how that's going to work. Are they going to make her seem more towards like Link, like she has the sword and shield, and then she fights in the same way that he does? Are they copying those animations, or is she going to bring something entirely new to the table, like with magic attacks and whatnot? I do think I've seen a trailer where she does get a sword and shield, but it uses up magic or something. So I don't know how that's all going to work. And another thing, are they going to include Link as some sort of little bonus completion thing? I think that would be cool. I still really do think they should have remade the Oracle games. Those are one of my favorite ones, but I think one of the issues with that is that it's because it's got something to do with Capcom that they can't remake them, or they can remake them. I think there's just kind of some hoops they have to jump through, so it's kind of an annoying process from what I can gather, but who knows, maybe in the future they'll work something out and then just kind of go from there, I guess. But we'll just see. And then I wonder how they're doing the dungeons and temples and stuff. I haven't seen too much on that. I would assume that there's the way to get like all 20 heart containers, 16, whatever number they're going for. Maybe even 18. Is there a Zelda game with 18 heart containers? Because I think the Oracle games were linked games. I think the max was either 14 or 16. And then Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess were 20. Maybe Skyward Sword too. No, 20 does seem to be a common number. I think Minish Cap's 20 as well. But I want to say there's like a game with 16 or 18 heart containers somewhere in there too, but I'm just curious how they're going to go about doing that. And I want to say it's been said that the overworld is going to be a Link to the Past themed, which is really cool to be going back to this world. I know we've gotten to see it now in Link Between Worlds, so I'm always curious to see the Link Between Worlds, or excuse me, Link to the Past map. Ocarina of Time would be fun to revisit someday, as well as Twilight Princess. I think if I had to pick between those two, I would say Twilight Princess would be maybe a bit more interesting. Just to go into maybe explore the Arbiter's grounds a bit more, but whatever they do, it's going to be cool to see. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. You can actually take Zelda up to this guard, and he doesn't seem to really care that she's behind you. So I guess he's only really caring about himself, but we're just going to walk away because we don't want to deal with that. And now we can make our way down to the dungeon. Not the dungeon, but the throne room. And then there's going to be ways to escape, which I guess was done in case of some sort of attack or something at some point. So they thought ahead, which of course you want to do if you're a king or queen somewhere, in case the castle's ever threatened. Now, I do think they probably could have done with better security versus all these guards that can easily be mind-washed or brainwashed, and just you'd think they'd have some sort of better protection, but I guess not. They don't even have cannons, although I think like in the deleted stuff there's something to do with guards having cannons. I don't know a whole bunch about that. I know there's some cool videos that cover a lot of the beta elements of Zelda games, and a lot of cool stuff was removed from certain Zelda games, which I don't always understand why. The biggest one that I can think of is the Twilight Princess, which I can understand why some of the stuff was changed up, like the original Twilight realms, the Twilight zones, whatever you want to call them. they looked a bit black and white, like literally, so I could see why they decided to make it go the orange hue or yellow. Just adds a bit more unnervingness, I suppose, to the games, but either way, the developers usually seem to know what they're doing, in most cases. But yeah, I'm just really excited for Echoes of Wisdom. Maybe not as excited as I was for Tears of the Kingdom, and again, I think I've said in previous videos, the Breath of the Wild world and the Tears of the Kingdom world, I'm not the biggest fans of. I still enjoy the games, but just that you have to go about, if you want to do, like, I'm a 100% collector, and those are just two games that I don't want 100% because there's just so much stuff to get. Like, who wants to collect all those Korok seeds, you know? Who wants to visit every square inch of the map just to have it registered? It's too much. There gets to be a point where it's a little unnecessary to do so much, but to each their own, you know? Like, this game, it doesn't have too much for 100% completion. GBA version does incorporate the Palace of the Four Sword, which is a bit more difficult than most dungeons, and they will probably struggle. Maybe I'll only go about uploading a perfect trial of that place, but we'll just see. I've never done it before. In the GBA version, I did grind, I want to say the Ice Palace with 2 Game Boys just so I could get the Hurricane Spin. I never ended up making it to Vatty's, or beating Vatty. I made it to his palace, and made it to the boss fight, but I couldn't ever defeat him. It's really difficult with just yourself and 2 Game Boys, so it was nice to have Cody to be able to go through Vatty's palace and now actually be able to beat the Palace of the Four Swords for the first time, because I've never done it, so I'm really looking forward to that. Aside from that, I have done everything else in the GBA Zelda game in the past. I got all the heart containers in the GBA version, and I even have the Hurricane Spin. It's just a matter of the Vatty and the Palace of the Four Swords that I haven't done. And I know the Medals of Courage go up to 999, which is a little weird. You'd think they'd stop at 10, but evidently not. So, definitely not going for 999, just going for the 10 required. And then, we'll see how the Palace of the Four Swords goes. We're getting pretty close to the end of this video. Gonna be making our way towards the Sanctuary, which is a nice little place. We don't really see anything along the lines of churches really incorporated to Zelda games. I think there might have been some in Zelda 2. Ocarina of Time does have the Temple of Time, but I don't know if that's necessarily supposed to be a church or not, because there's like not really any pews or anything, and I don't really know what it's meant to be. It seems more like a sanctuary or something, because I know there's a difference between the two, but I don't know. Either way, this is the second to last room before we reach the main sanctuary part. I guess this is just sort of a back room, if you will, of the sanctuary. Just throw these pots. And then make your way to this room. Now, you want to pull the right switch. If you pull the left switch, it's going to drop, I think, some ropes. Or maybe it's going to drop some ice. I think they're still called ropes in this game, but that's a nice little freeze frame there. Yeah, just pull this one here, and I want to say the movement speed's increased from this Zelda game, the GBA version, because I think you move slow in the SNES version, but maybe not. But here we are at the Sanctuary. If you want to grab that chest, you're going to get yourself your first heart container, which is a bit unusual to get a heart container from a chest. I don't think that really happens too often. In fact, maybe this is one of the only cases it actually does happen. And then this priest is just kind of explaining what's going to happen if you don't defeat Aghanim and if you don't get the Master Sword, so we want to make sure that we do so. For some reason, soldiers never think to search the sanctuary, which is a little interesting. You'd think they might, but guess not. You can talk to these guys if you want to, and just grab the heart container in this chest. And that's gonna do it for this video. I'll probably upload these videos like 3 or 4 times a week, and just kind of go from there. I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.